Well, let's take you here now. President Cyril Ramaphosa says next month's BRICS summit, which Vladimir Putin has been invited to attend, will be held in person despite an arrest warrant on the Russian leader. South Africa is the current chair of the BRICS. Now, let's discuss this. We're now joined via Zoom by international relations expert Ndzali Mathebula. Ndzali, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Perhaps let's start here. I mean, this year it will be 10 years since South Africa hosted its first BRICS Heads of State Summit. Just your high-level thoughts of South Africa's role in BRICS over the years, and particularly just looking at recent developments.
With South Africa being part of the BRICS bloc, it has grown in momentum, and its position within the whole bloc has been very significant. Hence, we are now hosting the BRICS summit. But then at the same time, I do believe that there has been deepened ties with the trading and economic cooperation between the 5 countries since South Africa has joined the BRICS summit. It has been very instrumental in the economy and the position of South Africa within the international relations space altogether.
Now it looks like all systems go, for next month's summit, particularly if you listen to President Cyril Ramaphosa confirming that indeed the summit will go ahead in South Africa and indeed it will be in person. And whilst there are significant issues that need to be discussed by the BRICS leaders, we still have this cloud hanging over the summit, and that, of course, is Vladimir Putin, and whether or not he will attend in person and whether or not, the warrant of arrest will then be instituted by South Africa. What are we likely to see?
So as we have said that for the past months, we have actually been looking at how this will unfold. But then with recent developments with how South Africa has been handling the whole issue, we can say that there's unlikeliness of the warrant being executed due to 2 main reasons. Firstly, domestically and internationally. So what you find domestically is South Africa would have to have the capacity and the willingness to actually execute the warrant of arrest, but internationally also, and the cooperations or the relationship that you have between all those BRICS countries, there is unlikeliness as South Africa tries to deepen its relations with all the BRICS countries. Therefore, it becomes a dilemma. But at the same time, I would like to state that it goes back to international law because it has this element of self-help, and countries that are not able to put sanctions or to execute sanctions on other countries find it very hard to actually execute the court's warrant when it comes to international law, because it lacks this obligatory character to make countries oblige instead of sanctioning and threatening.
Now, I don't know how much of the previous clip that you heard, but ANC Deputy Secretary General Ndzali Mathebula, saying in the previous clip that the party is planning to host political parties, from BRICS ahead of the BRICS summit next month. One of the things that she said is that there is a need to review, the ICC. What are your thoughts around just what are South Africa's confines in around, just being part of this?
So with the ICC, it has been coming for the longest of time because we were once in this dilemma. But then my thoughts really on this is having this international institution and being signatory to it. It's high time as a country review if the signatory or being part of this ICC actually, does it help with our resilience? Does it make us more resilient as a country going forward, or does it make us more susceptible to geopolitical shocks? And provided that it actually makes us more susceptible, then it is high time to actually stop being a signatory, because as a country and the whole globe, as we are moving forward and as we are tackling these global crisis, as a country, we want to reach so much for operational resilience to make sure that we are resilient. Must something like this happen again in the future? So if we are part of an institution that actually doesn't help with building our resilience, it becomes a challenge.
Over the past couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of interest, from the so-called West, with as well as the French president making it known that he would like to attend this particular summit. And when you look at just some of the, key pillars in terms of their strategy that BRICS would want to discuss intensively over, the summit, one of the 5 pillars is promoting cooperation for economic growth and development, particularly in as far as the BRICS members are concerned. Where does this interest come from? What do we make of it?
Yeah, well, I do believe that we cannot really question bilateral relations each country might have with any country that they'd want to relate with. But then at the same time, I do believe that it is an interest of trying to seek and understand the position that the BRICS country is taking, as we hear that there are so many talks of de-dollarization and really a competition with the Western countries, the changing of the global order. So I do believe that it's an understanding and see where each where the BRICS bloc stands with that. So I cannot really assert if it is genuine or not, but then maybe it is all in the interest of the country, France itself, and the relations that they would like to build within BRICS blocs.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. International relations expert Ndzali Mathebula, thank you so much for your time.